Come and dream with me.
Welcome to What Do You Want to Watch? Explosion Network's Premier Media Podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content to help you answer the question: will Sam Neill be remembered as one of Australia's greatest actors, despite being an independent actor?
Yes.
She'll be. Join me today, Dylan Blight.
Yes, indeed. We claim what is not ours, and forever will be. Amen.
I think how many Australian projects do you need to be before you're claimed as Australian?
3.
Okay, yeah, seems like a fair number, but also one we'll happily put through quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those things where immigration doesn't matter. You can just be
No, doesn't.
no visas, no that kind of stuff. So yes, rest in peace to Sam Neill, who passed away just today as of recording. So very sudden and very sad news, as opposed to other deaths recently. Mm-hmm. All right, on today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over some film news, giving thumbs to trailers, and give you this week's top 3. Kicking things off, I watched Moana, which of course is the live-action adaptation of the 2016 animated film. So only 10 years ago, starring Catherine Nagaya in her film debut, with Dwayne Johnson playing Maui as he reprising his role from the animated film. Obviously, it follows a young woman, Moana, who lives on an island. The island is threatened by some sort of disease beyond the reef. All the people on her island are taught to, they can't go beyond the reef. They need to stay on the island because that's really important. But when a blight strikes it, she feels the need to go beyond the waters and fulfill a prophecy of bringing the heart of Te Fiti back to the island of Te Fiti with the help of Maui, this shape-shifting demigod who stole it initially. So this live-action film, I think it's okay. Like a lot of these live-action adaptations, I would just say this is the inferior way to watch the experience this story. I think if you went into this and you had not watched the animated movie, you would be maybe a little bit more wowed. But I think having watched the animated movie and watched this, it is just visually, I think, a lot of the water stuff, a lot of the landscapes and that kind of stuff, it just looks not good, especially with them going for photorealism and that kind of style, and it is. I know it's a thing we probably meant to talk a lot about, but this fucking movie's too fucking dark. They need to liven it up. If this, I feel like if they did this movie in the 50s or something and did Technicolor or something like that, maybe it would pop a little bit more, and it would look more visually impressive. But because it is trying to be as realistic as possible, it just looks boring and flat. I think a lot of the visual jokes and that kind of stuff don't quite work. Especially the thing that irked me the most was, well, there's 2 things that irked me through this entire movie. But one was obviously Maui. If you haven't seen the anime movie, he's covered in tattoos that move around. There's you can see a little Maui on his chest moving around. It's a cool thing. They try and recreate that in the film, but because the lighting is so dark, it's kind of difficult to see the little Maui tattoo and what he's doing and that kind of stuff. That irked me. The other thing that irked me is fucking everybody's hair suddenly gets really dry as soon as they're out of the water and that kind of thing. The continuity around the wet hair was a thing that was irking me throughout the entire movie, and I can understand it's very difficult to have consistency on that grade, but it seemed to be all over the place. So that was the thing. I think Catherine Nagaya and Dwayne Johnson do have good chemistry, and they do, after initial warming up period, do kind of get into the groove of the characters and they do feel like the version of the film. But again, it's so hard because it is so soon after, and you're doing it so close to comparison that naturally you're going to. Is the instant reaction of, this doesn't sound the same, Like there's orchestrations are slightly different. The voices are obviously quite different and that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, she didn't go for that high note there or that kind of stuff. It's like you're constantly throughout this movie comparing it to the original. And that definitely is not a favorable comparison, I would say. Because generally, I think for most things, whichever version of something you watch first is the version that, is you generally consider is better. But I think there is stuff in here that works. Obviously, who is it? Rena Owen plays the grandmother figure. She's really great in the sequences because obviously that's a good character, a good emotional storyline. Those moments kind of hit. But yeah, I think. Sorry, I just remembered the other dumb thing that such a stupid nitpick that I feel bad about bringing it up. But in the animated film, how they've got the thing at the island, their tradition through all the chiefs is they put the stone on top of each other, with the idea that when each chief puts a new stone on the top of the island gets taller.
I don't remember this.
I'm very sure that the top of the island is like reasonably flat and that kind of stuff, but there is just the rocks, and it's very much those rocks are lifting the height of the island.
Right.
In this movie, at the top of the mountain, there's like a bunch of rocks like kind of jutting out from the top. And I'm fairly sure they're higher than the stack of rocks. So they're not really raising the island, are they? Because those other rocks are like higher than the tower of rocks they're building.
I think you're overthinking it.
I probably am overthinking it, but it was like one of those silly, like I'm sure from like the reason they're there is for like because it's like in the volume or something, and they're like trying to block out where they're going to CGI they're setting up where the space is and that kind of stuff. But that was like a thing that irked me as well. But I think for the most part they do a solid job of hitting things for beat. I think I don't think there is a sequence that is done better here than in the animated movie. I think
I'm shocked.
I don't think it's a surprise. Like even they have Jermaine come back and play the crab Tamatoa. I feel like even that's I'm pretty sure this movie is longer than the animated movie, which shouldn't be surprising. That is a common thing because they feel like they need more time to do these things, and there's like a little bit more ad-libbing and that kind of stuff, and you got to justify having this crab creature in here for a little bit longer and that kind of stuff. I just don't. Yeah, the mix I don't think is as clear and good as in the animated movie. I mean, still like some of the emotional. I feel like again the chemistry between them is good. I think they hit the emotional beats. I did feel choked up and that kind of stuff. At the important emotional beats towards the end of the movie and that kind of stuff. I feel like they do get some of the comedy between the Moana and Maui because it is a little bit contentious or adversarial at the start of their relationship, and that works. I think they did a really good job bringing what's the chicken Hey to life. I think that works. That is a good CGI. I get much like in the actual movie, in the animated movie. I wish they had more of the pig, which they brought back in the second movie. I wish the pig was in more of this movie. But yeah, and they got a new end song. They what's his face? Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote a new song to sing at the end they bring back the original voice of Moana to sing the song with the new Moana. For trying to win an Oscar reasons.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Obviously, this movie is not doing well at the box office. It's made $95 million worldwide on a $250 million budget. So not a great start. I will say, I feel like they made this movie so quickly because Dwayne Johnson wanted to play Maui. And I feel like they only could have made this movie with Dwayne Johnson as Maui. You know what I mean? Just from like a star making point of view. Like they needed at least one of the two leads to be a prominent actor.
You don't reckon people would have just gone and watched it anyway?
I think the fact that Snow White bombed because nobody knew. Rachel Zegler is pretty big, but not, renowned. And Gal Gadot, I guess, is not a draw. I don't. Well, I guess The Little Mermaid, led by Halle Bailey. She was well known, so maybe there's a chance there. But I feel like maybe also it's produced by $7 Studios, so I mean, Dwayne Johnson's all over it, so involved. But I feel like that's why it was kind of pushed through so quickly, because he wanted to reprise a role and still be in a good enough shape. I think as the movie went along, I got used to him as Maui, and not being upset that he is not a a thick dude. I even got used to his hair. I'm like, I mean, it's between this and Scorpion King. Which one's the better wig? I think it might be this one, but not a very high bar. But yeah, it's interesting to see the reaction, the box office. I feel like kids will enjoy this. Like, that is the main thing. Like, if you take your kids, they'll enjoy it. I think ultimately having people of color, like Polynesian people, on screen in a film like this, I think is a net good. So I can't hold that against it. But I think, yes, this is not the way to experience this story, to put it bluntly. And yeah, I mean, I won't hold anybody against. I don't hold it against them for trying to bring this to the screen, but I don't think going for photorealistic special effects and lighting and look was necessarily the best decision for what is currently possible with technology. Because they definitely were not filming in the middle of the Pacific. You know what I mean?
They were just filming.
They're filming like in a tank in front of a green screen, and it's very apparent from the water and that kind of stuff. And the water special effects are not that great. I don't. Yeah, it does not. The suspension of disbelief is not there for the recreation, the spiritual creation of water, or whatever you want to describe it as. So, Moana, go watch it on Disney Plus, the original 2016 film. I feel like also Moana 2 not being very good, I think also played into people's non-excitement about this.
I forgot they even did a sequel.
That was the thing.
To be honest,
that's the thing. So, yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Dylan, you finally got the chance to go and watch Jackass Best and Last.
I did. I watched Jackass Best and Last. I very much enjoyed it. This is a movie. It's an odd one because it's like, I've seen people online complaining that it's a mixture of stuff you've seen before and new stuff, and ultimately it feels more like a 0.5 entry rather than a normal film, because the 0.5s they always had them talking to the camera and stuff like that, which they have throughout this. They'll cut to Johnny talking to Steve or Jeff or something. Just they're talking amongst themselves and sort of setting up. It's like a sort of way for them to like, hey, remember when we did this thing, blah 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 blah, reminds me of this, and then like cuts back to that, sort of like shows you sort of it's the way they sort of tie the movie together, I guess. And it's like, but it is spaced out well. It's not like I never felt like it was a high density of old stuff.
You didn't feel like it was a clip show?
No, I never felt like it was a clip show. It felt like a good mix of stuff, because it does feel like a film that's trying to. It's like, we want to try and do some new stuff, but also some of us are nearly 60 or at least mid 50s. And we also want to just potentially show you some of the older stuff that you may not have seen on the big screen before, because we're bigger now, or I don't know, like go back to some stuff. But it feels like a love letter to Jackass. It definitely does feel like the actual final one. The way it all, like the vibe is there from the get go. I mean, it starts with, like, you get your typical opening scene. Every Jackass movie has, some big montage, whatever, scene that they always do. And then the first clip it comes up on the screen and it says like, blah blah blah. Johnny Knoxville recalled that this is the first thing that was ever shot for what would eventually become Jackass, but we weren't allowed to ever show it for reasons it was deemed too dangerous and stuff. So you see that, which was Johnny Knox. It's part of the segment stuff he shot for the magazine Big Brother at the time, which was all like safety stuff like taser guns and pepper spray and stuff like that. But what they never showed was he puts on a bulletproof vest, shoves some Playboy magazines underneath it. They drive out to the middle of the desert. He shoots himself in the chest with his gun, like just holds it against himself. But also it's worse because they play the whole clip and he's like, click. They only put one bullet in there. So it's like, click, no. So every time he has to like build himself up, click, 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 till eventually shoots himself in the fucking chest with his gun. And then, yeah, it's like, sort of, it's like, see, the movie starts literally with, you know, the first thing that was ever technically filmed for Jackass, even though it wasn't Jackass at the time. And then follows through to, I guess it's not really a spoiler because it's on the poster, but you know, the movie's ending sequence is another shopping cart sequence, which recreates the opening of the first Jackass movie. So it's sort of a, yeah, it's also the fact, I mean, it didn't make me cry, but it made me emotional, and definitely you could get it there. It's sort of hard not to when, you know, obviously I've spoken about with how big of a part of like growing up Jackass was for me, and all these guys and just the dumb humor of it, and I don't know, there's like a camaraderie to it is the part that's sort of hard to explain to people. But you know, the after the whole opening sequence and stuff, it cuts to the camera crew, you know, they're sort of following Joe Knoxville and Chris Pontius getting out of the car, and they literally like ask like, hey Johnny, how's it feel to be, you know, filming the last movie? And Joe Knoxville starts crying, like, you know, like he's legit crying. It shows, you know, how big it is, how big of a part of his life this dumb shit has been. It's like, how do you put into words, you know? So but yeah, I think it's definitely more of a love letter film than the one you would show someone to introduce them to. I mean, maybe it's a fun first one to watch, I don't know, but it's like maybe if you only watch the Jackass 4, you know, forever, you'd watch this. Maybe it makes you want to go back and watch the older stuff as well or something. But yeah, for me, it was great, but I could understand if you wanted something more, or it might feel more like a 0.5 film than a proper one, considering it's not all new stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay. So I've caught up on season 2 of X-Men 97. Of course, the revival of the 90s X-Men cartoon that was continued. The first season was really good. The second season kind of picks up from where they left off, where half the team has been sent after the events of last season. Half the X-Men ended up in the far future, and half the X-Men featured in the distant past. And it turns out the reason that they're there is Apocalypse, that people will know from X-Men Apocalypse, that really not good movie for the comic books. So he is this, you know, long-living being who is able to reincarnate constantly, and is one of the major adversaries of the X-Men. So in the far future, he is like at his, you know, strongest point, I guess. But then in the distant past, he's like at the very beginning of his journey to becoming Apocalypse, and the X-Men come across him at that point. So I guess it's like an interesting juxtaposition and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the season as going again. I think, you know, it is going, you know, running on all cylinders. Really interesting setup. I think it was the second episode that everybody's out of the current timeline. They're in the present 90s. Like they've been disappeared or whatever before, like Bishop and Forge travel back forward in time to go fetch them. The season opens with them having to go jump. They've built their time machine, they're about to jump, and they're like, we need to bring the X-Men back to the 90s. So that's great. But while they're away, X-Force and X-Factor built up as teams and all this kind of stuff. So you got all these X-Factions kind of battling around the country, like kind of help mutant and that kind of stuff. So that's all really interesting. So yeah, first 4 episodes are out right now. Really great setup. Lots of X-Men characters being brought in, like on X-Force. Cable's got like Psylocke and what's his Psylocke and Archangel, and on X Factor they got like Havoc and Polaris and all these kind of characters that like X-Men kind of nerd like me is like, it's really cool. I know that got lots of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at, I know that person and that kind of stuff. So that's really cool. And episode 4, there's like other cool references to other characters within the within the Marvel universe, not specifically
X-Men.
Not specific to X-Men, that show up and you're like, oh, it's kind of cool. They're getting to use those characters and that kind of stuff. So yeah, X-Men 97. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. All right, Dylan, last week you mentioned that one of the films that you needed to catch up on from the start of 2026 was Primate, the monkey movie.
The monkey movie.
That you said, no, I don't want to watch that monkey. It looks bad, even though that's what most horror movies look like. So what do you think of Primate?
Yes. Yeah, I watched Primate. I think it was sparked by doing the list. I was like, I was like, I should go.
Might as well
watch it now. I felt like watching a horror movie, so I always feel like watching a horror movie. What we're talking about. Yeah, I thought it was all right. I think it was definitely a lot better than the trailer sort of set me up to be. I think there's still the part in the trailer where the girl's in the car and she's like on the phone yelling, "It's a fucking monkey," or whatever she says. I think in context it sort of plays a bit better than out of context of the trailer, where I'm like, I hated that line. I was like, but yeah, within the movie at least it sort of makes better. I think the cast is fine. It's a good mix. I think the standout, or the part that sort of definitely adds like a more interesting, or like, oh, you don't usually see that sort of thing, is they have Troy Costa, whatever, from that Apple TV movie, when he plays the dad of the girl and singing and he's deaf. What the fuck was that movie called? Oh my god, I'm gonna go and say Coda
with Amelia Jones.
Fucking hell. Yes, anyway, him, the dad from that. He's the dad of he's the dad of the girl. He's like a famous orphan. He's got this big rich house and owns a pet monkey, which is the house in which the movie takes place. And his 2 daughters there and all this sort of stuff. So but like, he has the pet monkey and he sort of stands out within the film because it helps, I don't know, add a little bit more to the relationship with everyone else, and it also adds to quite an interesting scene where it's like, I don't want to spoil the movie completely, but I mean, if a monkey's sneaking up, or if there's a killer monkey in the house and you have him walking around the house and you yell out to tell him to look out for a monkey and he can't hear you, it makes you feel like you're like, as an audience, you're watching it, you're like, how the fuck do we get it? The whole why is the monkey go insane thing, the sort of like, the movie opens with a like text about how apparently animals who look at water or something can turn them insane, or something. Anyway, he gets rabies is what the actual reality is. Mongoose gets into his cage, has rabies, gets into a fight with monkey gets rabies. Rabies make monkey go crazy and then want to kill everyone. That's the extent we go to. But yeah, I mean, it's got some brutal kills, bit of fun. Monkey has, instead of just wanting to kill people, monkey also decides, I'm going to rip people's faces off. I'm going to, let's just go the full length here. Yeah, it's got some stupid scenes as well. There's some annoying characters, but they die pretty quickly, so that was all right. But yeah, it was a bit of fun. I don't want to oversell it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would based on the trailer, but
yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's more to it than it's a bit of a fun slasher, I guess, to a degree. And by the slasher, I mean it's a monkey in the house. And for the majority of the movie, it's a group of characters hiding out in the middle of this pool because the monkey can't swim, and the monkey's just,
So why didn't they stay in the pool?
Because then they're like, we should. One of them's got one of the characters is like bleeding out, so then they like get out of the pool because they're trying to like get a phone or something. Like, they're trying to get help because the girl's gonna die. Yeah.
Leave Her for Dead. Anyway.
What's the sister? So they make sure to
Okay,
quickly be
there's
like,
this
it's
connection.
like the main character is the older sister, and then the younger sister is the one bleeding out. So then straight away there's like an emotional, she has to save her.
All right. I've been able to watch one of a comedy that has been, I think it was on Peacock in America. It finally is available for people to watch in Australia on 7+.
Wow.
The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins, which
Oh, this is
stars,
on 7+, really?
yes, random happenstance like happened. I'm like, I wonder if this is finally out in Australia. It's like fucking 7+. Not only is it on 7+, it's releasing weekly.
Okay.
So currently there are
Wow.
only 3 episodes available.
Wow. Pretty sure it's finished, isn't it? No.
It is completely finished. So it stars Tracy Morgan as the titular Reggie Dinkins, who is a former football player who it's discovered that he was pretty much gambling on himself, to be fair. But unfortunately he mixed up his bookie's number and a live television journalist and revealed on air that he was, making bets on himself, which is very illegal and that kind of stuff. So his legacy as a great footballer was tarnished, and he's now kind of resigned himself to just staying at home because he can't deal with the criticism, but he wants to get back on top. So he hires a documentarian played by Daniel Radcliffe to document his life and set he wants like a puff piece kind of narrative at first, to turn his life, make him look good and all that kind of stuff. But Daniel Radcliffe is not on board with that. Daniel Radcliffe is only in this position because after being a great documentarian, winning a bunch of awards, he's given he's put in charge of a Marvel movie. But then it's a bunch of green screen and tennis balls. So he has a massive breakdown on set, and then they quietly get rid of him, replace him. But there is a video that is eventually circulated of his freak out on set that works against him and that kind of stuff. This is a lot of fun. There's a lot of funny one-liners, lots of the joke to minute ratio is very high. There's lots of zingers and little callbacks and references and all this kind of stuff. Lots of fun back and forth. It's definitely got it's from a lot of the people behind 30 Rock, and you can kind of feel a similar energy. There's a lot of flashbacks to past events and then quickly panning back to the present and that kind of stuff. It's done as a mockumentary style because it's as if it's being shot by the documentary crew of the documentary and that kind of stuff. You've also got Bobby Monahan, who plays Reggie Dinkins' best friend, he's just a bit of a gopher, I guess. He kind of does whatever he wants and that kind of stuff. So that's all really fun. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. They kind of play with the methods of the documentary and that kind of stuff. It's in one episode, he's wanting to interview people to get the response that he's looking for and that kind of stuff, and kind of play them at the Puppet Master and that kind of stuff to get the footage that he wants for his documentary and all that kind of stuff. So I'm enjoying it so far. 3 episodes out. This is one I've been keen to check out because of clips have been showing up online and on social media and that kind of stuff that I've enjoyed because Daniel Radcliffe is great. He is really good in this as well. So definitely. Well, I guess he was a little bit this tone in Miracle Workers. But yeah, it's really fun to see him in this, and Tracy Morgan playing Tracy Morgan, I guess, more than anything. So that's always fun. So
I just looked on my Apple TV app on my phone just to see if it was maybe you can purchase the whole season. Yeah. And so no. I was just out of interest. I was like, no, literally, even if you wanted to spend the money, no. You gotta wait. On 7.
Yeah. So I guess how many episodes are there? 10?
3.
So in 6 weeks' time, you'll be able to binge it all on 7+.
You can't even after episodes are out on 7, you still can't even purchase the single episode so you could watch it without ads. If you had the money just to throw around willy nilly. But I'll just I'm no, okay.
Then I also watched the documentary Bang My Box, with the Robin Byrd story, which follows a. So in America, they got like public broadcasting channels within every city, and there was a woman called Robin Byrd who I guess was involved in adult entertainment. Who started like there was a show before where people would call in while porn stars or adult entertainers appear in a sequence and then like took phone calls with live people. And she was so very popular on that she kind of spun off into her own version of that on public access television. And it became like this kind of cult hit in at least New York City. And she, like ran that show for like several years and like was very at the forefront of like, sexual, sex work and sex, was a champion for LGBTQ people, HIV, AIDS awareness, and safe sex. Like one of her big things was always talking about having safe sex on the show and that kind of stuff. So it documents the show. What it would have been the late 70s, early to 1998. It says is how long she hosted the show. But obviously, it's like she's now like 69 years old. She's retired. She's living with her husband, who has I think it was Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. I think it was Alzheimer's. He's starting to forget stuff, and that kind of stuff. So, the documentary kind of documented it. Like, also was focused on the legacy of the show, and then she's thinking about digitizing. She has the tapes, like the actual physical tapes from every single episode of a show. She has them like kind of hoarded in her home or apartment, like covered under like a tarp or whatever to kind of keep them safe or whatever. So she's about to go through the process of digitizing all these so they can be kept, for what's the word that we're constantly using? Preservation reasons. Because apparently that's the thing that like places like Harvard are wanting to have and that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that there's this like kind of cult figure that was like very much on the forefront of sex positivity and that kind of stuff. Even though, and again, just like little things in this documentary that they bring up, it's like they talked about like one of her big advertisers at the time were like call lines, like girl call lines and that kind of stuff. That back in the day, people would call someone on the phone. They wouldn't know who it was, but they would have like intimate talks. That was a thing back in the day before the internet, and it's just very so quaint. And they talked about how that process and how lucrative it was. How they set up she set up her own personal line with her own like girls to do that, but then they also set up like a gay line. Like a one for gay men and then one for transsexuals, because I guess there was enough demand to get all those lines going. So interesting. It's on HBO Max if you want to check it out. There is a fair bit of nudity, so be aware of that. But interesting. Something I was definitely informed about new things. I'll say that. And then I also watched the documentary series on Apple TV Plus, Knife Edge: Chasing Michelin Stars, which is, I think there's a second season out now. I'm like midway through season 1. But it's very much a food show about high-end restaurants that are trying to get Michelin stars. And the thing about the show is they've got a little bit more of an insider look at the process of Michelin and that kind of stuff. So obviously people have heard of obviously this interest has been spun off from watching the most recent season of The Bear or watching The Bear in general. And I feel like that, Michelin tied to the Thai company because that was the whole thing. The Michelin food guide or whatever was based on, here's all these places you should go to, eat, drive your car, use up your tires, and then come buy more tires from Michelin. And that was the impetus of the Michelin stars. But the Michelin stars is an award given to really great restaurants to recognize them as high-end, must-see attractions There's 3 levels. There is 1, 2, and 3 stars to earn. So the documentary features both people looking to get 1, 2, and 3 stars in different countries and that kind of stuff. And it gives you like looks as restaurants are like, oh, is this person who's coming in a Michelin inspector and that kind of stuff. And that's like kind of the weird, interesting tension of the show. They do have like small snippets with interviews with Michelin inspectors, but they're like disguised. They're shot from the back with, silhouette lighting, and their voices are, modulated and all that type of stuff. Yeah, so I mean, the structure of the show is they follow a kitchen as they talk about how they run the kitchen, and like then they have like a food service where there's naturally some things go wrong, but then it all kind of leads up to within each area, or like in the first episode they're like in New York, I think, or the second or third episode they're in Chicago or whatever. All these restaurants within the Chicago area are then invited to a ceremony where they will announce who gets the Michelin stars. So then they film it there, and then they get their reactions if they get the stars or not. So, yeah, it's an enjoyable enough show. A bunch of food that I would probably never eat because it sounds so expensive and like high end and that kind of stuff. But it's an interesting enough watch and a fun enough documentary series that feels like is sating. It's a nice aftertaste to the bear and a little bit more of a focused look at what is needed.
Michelin star.
Yeah, try to get Michelin star. So, also I watched the Counting Crows documentary. I can't remember what it's called, but it follows the Counting Crows and how they came to rise on HBO Max. Interesting. I didn't know a lot. I'm familiar with a couple of the songs. But yeah, that's an interesting documentary as well that I checked out. All right, let's move to the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. Dylan, you've watched a couple of other documentaries. You watched Worst Neighbor Ever.
Yeah, I finished. I think it's 4 episodes in this season. Typical sort of Netflix structure to this one, obviously, but there's some interesting / fucked up stories in here. It's everything from it's like if the HBO Neighbors show was sort of a look at how messed up America really is and how incapable they are at living with one another. This is the ultra extreme end of that, where it ends with death for people. And that can involve a lady who was living with someone she thought she was friends with, and this lady happens to marry and get a black husband, and then her quote-unquote friend definitely isn't racist at all, and then doesn't start being weird about the fact that she's living in this house that isn't hers, and then when she's kicked out and moves across the street, doesn't then cause all sorts of ruckus that ends up shooting people. Go down that road. The last episode is wild. I don't really want to spoil it in case anyone watches it, but it's just one of those, I don't know. It seems like it was a Coen Brothers script of just odd shit and fucked up shit that happened. Like, they literally in this episode, I'll say this, at some point in this episode, characters are talking about shit that they've done, and then they start playing clips from a certain Breaking Bad episode and being like, this is literally what those characters do in that episode, and we have to wonder if they're inspired by Breaking Bad. Like, there's some weird shit. But it's an enjoyable watch, even with some terrible people, but also just testament to how fragile some people's lives can become with the people they live around.
All right. And then you also watched The Predator of Seville.
Yeah, this is about this, what would you call it? It's like a tour guide thing in, well, I mean, it's Seville, but I can't, what's the country? Spain? Yes. There, he's like, yeah, it's like targeted at college students, I guess, and primarily, I guess, American college students who are doing, what do you call it, like their gap year sort of thing or whatever, where they're like typical American movie thing where it's like the girls all, well, not just the girls, but they go on this like vacation or whatever. Yeah, we'll go drink and whatever. So it's like targeting them. It's like you pay this guy or his company money, and they'll take you around and they'll show the places and they'll keep you safe and they'll make sure you go have a good time and whatever else. And yeah, the guy running it is basically a serial sex pest, rapist, terrible person. And it takes this one woman who is sexually assaulted by him and then sort of moves on with her life as much as she can with that. And then years later sort of spots and hears a similar story and then begins reaching out to people and putting things together that's like, oh, did you go through the same place? Oh, I did. I went for that place too. You know, all that sort of stuff. And then begins the wheels in motion to get him, basically. Yeah. So terrible guy. Interesting story of the strength of this, well, many women, but in particular the one that sort of leads the charge against this guy. And also how the police in Spain are apparently hopeless.
Very good. All right, that's everything I watch history. Let's move on to some film news. And of course, the big story this week is that the 78th Primetime Emmy Award nominations are out. And maybe the biggest story for us here at the Explosion Network is Rhea Seehorn is looking like a very good chance to take home her very first Emmy. She obviously got nominated in Outstanding Lead Actress in a drama series for Pluribus. Dylan, right off the top, how are you feeling about at least this first hurdle being crossed?
Look, I think this was the shoe-in. This part, like seeing her nominated, wasn't the surprising, but that I felt like it was that was an easy tick. It's just we're in the hard yards now. You know, the real battle begins.
Now, every day, messaging Emmy voters.
Damn right. I'm just over here putting in the yards, messaging all the Emmy voters I know.
Stay on for Emmy. Just sending, litigious information about the other nominees. You know, Zendaya, too much. She didn't even want to be on Euphoria.
Doesn't even care.
Didn't even care. Kerry Russell,
No.
what about her?
Whatever, she phoned it in.
Chase Infinity, she's,
she's young.
She'll have another chance.
She'll have another chance. Plenty.
Kerry Coon, you messed up last year.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Rhea Seehorn is justice this year.
Damn right.
You know? Yeah, so Pluribus did earn, 18 nominations, 6 Primetime Emmy nominations, including supporting actors for Carlos Manuel Vesca and Carolina Widra in their respective categories. The big nominees, The Pit, obviously getting 12 nominations at the Primetime Emmys, 25 across all categories. Tax getting 7, Tax and newcomer Widow's Bay, 7 nominations at the Primetime Emmy Awards, 24 and 19 nominations respectively, and then other big nominee getters, Beef and DTF St. Louis both getting 8 Primetime Emmy nominations, Beef 16 and DTF St. Louis 13 nominations across all categories. Dylan, what do you think of the nominations for the Emmy Awards this year?
Just coming off my recent catch up in time to see the season finale of Widow's Bay, running on the high of that, very happy to see that show straight away getting all the nominations it deserves.
Mm-hmm. I would say, I think across the board, pretty solid list. I think both Outstanding Comedy Series and Drama, like maybe 1 or 2, you probably could have been a little bit below that show, but I think they show the full depth and breadth of television this last year. I think we once again get into too many nominees from just 2 little shows. I think obviously, Hacks getting a bunch of nominations, and The Pit getting a bunch of acting nominations that, maybe we could spread the love a little bit more around to other shows. Do we really need, I feel like we have a discussion every year, but do you need 3 to 4 people from the same show when there can only be one winner.
This is always the question, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, that would be my only grievance with it. I feel like you could, get the opportunity to showcase more shows, or more performances, but that's kind of the way that the Academy is currently voting. They're like, we're watching this show, we really love this show, we're going to nominate all the people from this show. And that's kind of how it currently is working, although that doesn't necessarily mean that all of them will win. So let's run through some of the categories. Of course, outstanding comedy series, we got Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Margot's Got Money Troubles, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Shrinking, and Widow's Bay. Great list. Can't really think of too many missing, although in the writing category, what is it? The Chair Company, Jury Duty Presents, Company Retreat, and The Comeback all got nominated for writing. So, I mean, those would have been hard to get in the main category, but at least they got something there. I feel like The Chair Company, especially, is a show that doesn't lend itself to.
Chair Company is not a show that people are going to vote for, to be honest.
Mhm.
It's such an oddball thing.
Yeah. And then on the drama side, we've got The Diplomat, The Gilded Age, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Very happy to see that there. Paradise, The Pit, Pluribus, The Horses, and Your Friends and Neighbors. I think that last one surprising a lot of people getting a look in, especially when Task was nominated for both writing and directing, as well as getting acting noms. Whereas I think that's the only nomination of Your Friends and Neighbors. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, but I tell you what is Apple TV is just loving the
what was it?
The spread.
I mean, Apple TV got 29 out of the primetime nominations.
And it's not just for one show either. It's like a
No,
spread.
the nice spread.
Programs,
They're only behind HBO Max for primetime Emmys, and behind Netflix as well on like total Emmy Awards, including creative arts. So, again, Apple TV, like really, what we've got 1, 2, 3.
I mean, at this stage, we should be like
3 in each category. That's so 6 shows nominated this year.
You used to say, like, obviously HBO premium quality TV, and the HBO Max has some good stuff on it. But I mean, we've got to be lying at this stage to yourself if we don't consider Apple TV like as far as original streaming programs goes. They're the ones that if they drop a new TV show, you're more likely to be like, oh, I should check that out. It's probably going to be good. It has that like HBO like quality factor to it. A trailer drops for a Netflix show. You're like, it could be good, could be bad. Don't know. Apple TV, you thought to have a higher hit rate. You're like,
I think that's the key thing. Their hit rate is very high. I struggle to think of a real stinker. Like, there's obviously some shows that are just not for us, and there's like some obscure shows that they do release, but they've had a lot of success. Outstanding limited or anthology series. The nominees this year are All Her Fault, The Beast in Me, Beef, Season 2, DCF St. Louis, and Love Story, John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. Not a category that we're super invested this year because I don't think we've watched.
No, we haven't watched any of that.
Yeah, so
yeah,
hard to be get on with that. Best reality competition this year: Dancing with the Stars, RuPaul's Drag Race, Survivor, Top Chef, and The Traders. The big thing that I've seen is Dancing with the Stars getting in because they haven't been nominated for several years.
Yeah, I did see someone point that out, and it was one of those things I read and go, hasn't it? Oh, I guess not. I just don't care. Like,
You're gonna wonder how much is that due to what's his name, Robert Owen. He was on that season, right?
I think this is the American
Aussies
one.
making American shows.
Wasn't it just the American one? Was it the Australian one?
It is the American one. We're not talking about the American. He was on the American Dancing with the Stars.
Was he? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Outstanding variety series: Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and Saturday Night Live. Outstanding variety special with Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show starring Bad Bunny, the 83rd Annual Golden Globes, the 68th Annual Academy Awards, the Oscars, and the 78th Tony Awards. Moving on to acting, best lead actor.
Donald Trump's going to be so annoyed if Bad Bunny wins. He already loves to live tweet or whatever his platform is.
I can imagine all of the right wing media being upset that the one show in Spanish won the Academy. Won the Emmy. All right, best lead actor in comedy series: Yaha Abdul Martin II for Wonder Man, Steve Carell for Rooster, Matthew Rhys for Widow's Bay, Jason Segel for Shrinking, and Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building.
How crazy is it that Wonder Man's like nominated for stuff for a show that Marvel threw out to basically die, by all accounts?
I think it's great because he's deserving.
Yeah, it's deserving, but it's just like crazy.
Also, it's funny that obviously, looking at him, like, he probably wouldn't be in this category if they hadn't announced a season 2. This show, I feel like actually it would have worked better if this had been a limited series. I think it would have had. I think it would have had more of a chance for awards glory if it had been just a limited series. But it is. If you're going to get more, you can't be upset about that. Worth pointing out, Jeremy Allen White not nominated this year. I know there is only one acting nominee from The Bear. So I think the love for The Bear
dropped off.
Has definitely dropped off. Obviously for the 4th season of the show. So that's pretty clear. Although in Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, Eda Berry is one of the nominees with Quinta for The Bear, as well as Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, Elle Fanning for Margaret's Got Money Troubles, Lisa Kudrow for The Comeback, and Jean Smart for Hacks, which I think Jean Smart was probably going to win.
I think it's also shout out to Elle Fanning, who's having
career
nominated for she's having she's nominated for Academy Award, nominated for Emmy.
Doing great stuff. Lead actor in a drama series, we've got Sterling K. Brown for Paradise, Gary Oldman for Slow Horses, Mark Ruffalo for Task, Rufus Sewell for The Diplomat, and Noah Wiley for The Pit. Lead actor in a limited series or anthology series or movie, we got Riz Ahmed for Bait, Jason Bateman for Black Rabbit, Charlie Hunnam for Monster, The Ed Gein Story, Oscar Isaac for Beef, and Matthew Rhys for The Beast in Me. Is Charlie Hunnam a good choice there?
I'm fine with it. Like he's very, very good in it. He's like you can't as much as I have a problem with the show itself, he is very good.
Outstanding lead in a limited series, we got Claire Danes for Beast in Me, Sally Field for Remarkably Bright Creatures, Carey Mulligan for Beef, Sarah Pigeon for Love Story, John F. Kennedy and Caroline Bessette, and Sarah Snook for All Her Fault. Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, we got Common and Bingo for The Four Seasons, Paul W. Downs for Hacks, Harrison Ford for Shrinking, Nick Offerman for Margot's Got Money Troubles, Stephen Root for Widow's Bay, Michael Urie for Shrinking, and Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary. As a lot of people have been pointing out, Nick Offerman never got nominated for Parks and Rec, so great to see him. Whatever won for Parks and Rec, so good to see him here. Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, Dale Dickey for Widow's Bay, Hannah Ironbinder for Hacks, Janelle James for Abbott Elementary, Kate O'Flynn for Widow's Bay, Michelle Pfeiffer for Margaret's Got Money Troubles, Megan Statler for Hacks, and Jessica Williams for Shrinking. Also Widow's Bay love there. Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series is where we get to the Pit love. Patrick Ball for The Pit, Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, keeps getting nominated every single year.
Yeah.
Sean Hannessy for The Pit, Jaron Howell for The Pit, Jack Loudon, Slow Horses, I believe this is the first time he's got nominated for Slow Horses. So
it took 7 seasons or whatever number you're up to.
5.
Close enough.
Still a lot. Tom Pelphrey for Task and Carlos Manuel Vesca for Pluribus. Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series, Taylor Dearden for The Pit, Fiona Dora for The Pit, Alison Janney for The Diplomat, Catherine Linasa for The Pit, Sarah Deef Moafi for The Pit, Joanna Nicholson for Paradise, and Carolina Windra for Pluribus. Again, a case of all these Pit actresses getting nominated. I would say, I don't think those are the top 4 of the Pit actresses who should have been nominated. I think Catherine
Linasa roll the dice,
It could be. That's entirely possible. I also feel like maybe a part of that is residual love for what they did in the first season. I think
Well, did you see the story about those actors, whichever ones it was that had to nominate themselves?
We'll get into the guest actors, which isn't creative yet. Outstanding actor in a limited series: Jason Bateman for DTF St. Louis, Richard Gadd for Half Man, David Harper for DTF St. Louis, Richard Jenkins for DTF St. Louis, Charles Melton for Beef, and Nick Offerman for Death by Lightning. Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series: Linda Cardellini for DTF St. Louis, Dakota Johnson for All Her Fault, Laurie Metcalf for Monster: The Ed Gein Story, Joy Sunday for DTF St. Louis, Yoon Jung for Beef, and Constance Zimmer for Love Story, John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. Those are the main ones. Over on at the Creative Emmys, we got a bunch of really interesting stuff here. Outstanding Television Movie: Head of State, Miss You, Love You, People We Meet on Vacation, Remarkably Bright Creatures, and Jack Ryan. Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, Ghost War. Head of State, not a good movie. It's surprising it's got a nomination here. Maybe they should. I've seen people saying this category might need to be culled. I think they just need to pick out TV movies, especially when you've got any movie that comes to like original movie that comes to Netflix.
Netflix, Prime.
I'm sure you can find something better than Heads of State. Outstanding Variety Special Pre-Recorded: Dave Chappelle, The Unstoppable, The Muppet Show, Nikki Glaser, Good Girl, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, The Final Show, and Wicked, One Wonderful Night. What a eclectic mix of stuff.
Indeed.
Outstanding Game Show: unfortunately, Dropout did not break through, and we've got Celebrity Family Feud, Jeopardy, Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Who Wants to Be Millionaire.
Rigged.
Yeah. Also, outstanding animated programs: Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty, The Simpsons, Smiling Friends, South Park, and Star Wars Visions.
Star Wars Visions, baby.
The Sermon on the Mount episode of South Park is the one that got nominated, so crazy. What else have we got here? Well, you mentioned the acting stuff, so let's move down to that. So we got outstanding guest actor in a comedy series. You got Michael J. Fox for Shrinking, Brett Goldstein for Shrinking, Hamish Linklater for Widow's Bay, Christopher McDaniels for Hacks, Rob Reiner for The Bear, and Connor Story for Saturday Night Live. A lot of people saying he's got nominated here because they couldn't nominate Hidden Rivalry. Do you know why they couldn't? Hidden Rivalry was ineligible. Because anything for the Emmys needs to be at least co-produced by Americans, by an American studio. And Hidden Rivalry was completely independently made by Canadians. You know, as we've discussed before. So that's why it was not eligible. Although I'm not sure that it would have been nominated. It is crazy to imagine that it would have been nominated. I do appreciate Rob Reiner, obviously posthumously nominated for The Bear. He was really good in that season. Outstanding guest actress in a comedy series: Leslie Bibb for Hacks, Jamie Lee Curtis for The Bear, Betty Gilpin for Widow's Bay, Cherry Jones for Hacks, Laurie Metcalf for Hacks, Caitlin Olsen for Hacks, Lauren Weidman for Hacks. That's five nominations out of there for Hacks.
It's a hack.
It could be, yep. Outstanding guest actor in a drama series: Coleman Domingo for Euphoria, Ernest Harden Jr. for The Pit, Jeff Hiller for Pluribus, Jeff Kober for The Pit, Jonathan Price for Slow Horses, and Bradley Whitford for Diplomat. And then best outstanding guest actress in a drama series: Brittany Allen for The Pit, Tal Anderson for The Pit, Tina Ivlev for The Pit, Miriam Shaw for Pluribus, Merritt Weaver for The Gilded Age, and Shailene Woodley for Paradise. So it's been pointed out that both Brittany Allen and Jeff Kober both self-nominated for their own categories, which is a thing that you can do. Like, there is there's a cost involved to nominating yourself for this, and like submitting tapes and that kind of stuff. And studios studios will decide who they're going to put their money behind, that kind of stuff. So I guess within these categories, they chose Ernest Harden Jr. and Tal Anderson and Tina Ivlev as who they thought was most likely to get nominated, and put them forward. But they self-nominated, and clearly they were on the ballot enough that people were decided to nominate them, and all popular enough shows that got them. So not uncommon. Not uncommon process. Obviously, the most famous example I can think of recently is Gwendolyn Christie, not like self-nominated for Game of Thrones. I think the first time she got nominated. So obviously because of the Game of Thrones cast, maybe she was a little bit more overlooked. Yeah, good for her. What else? Outstanding voiceover performance. Pamela Adlon for King of the Hill, Julianne Andrews for Bridgerton, Hank Azaria for The Simpsons, Trey Parker for South Park, Matt Vogel for The Muppet Show, Stephen Yeun for Principal. That's a good category. Yeah. And anything that's kind of stood out to you other than
No, I mean, to be honest, I was looking through people's lists of like snubs and disappointments and surprises and whatever. I don't think I really like even looking for other people's lists. I was like, meh, like
people been surprised, like Stranger Things didn't get any nominations. Like,
yeah, stuff like that.
I don't think
like
that's not a
Sydney
snub.
Sweeney wasn't nominated for Euphoria. I saw people
Euphoria
mention
in
a couple
general, outside
times.
of
Euphoria in
Zendaya
general,
and-
but I'm like Sydney
There's a reason.
Sweeney was fine in season 3, if any season. So, but like overall, that season was bad. Surely we've come to agree to that collectively as a people. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say I looking around, I was like, no, this year seems pretty on the money, you know?
Yep. All right. Yeah. So as we get closer to the ceremony, we'll make our own predictions. But yeah, follow Dylan on social media as he campaigns to get Rhea Seehorn an Emmy.
Damn right.
All right. We are already in the halfway point of the year, so it feels like a good point to catch up on the What Do You Want to Watch movie fantasy game. We need to make our mid-year picks. Of course, as a game at the beginning of the year, we both selected a number of films that will be scored based on critics' score on Metacritic and box office placement, with an eventual winner at the end of the year who gets the most amount of points. We also made special selections at different film festivals, but we are now at the midway point and need to make some more picks to fill out our list. Today we'll be making 3 selections as well as 1 wildcard selection, which won't have a negative critic score built against it, so you can take a wild swing. Score update. Last time we left off, I was leading 78-44. Now, midway through the year, with the results of the 2 films, both Sundance and Cannes selections, it currently stands at 119-89.
That's better.
So I think you are close to gap by 4 points or something like that. But you do have some heavy hitters coming, and I'm not as confident in my remaining ones. Because you've got Doom Part 3, Digger, Avengers Doomsday, The Social Reckoning, and Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping.
I was re-looking through my list when you sent this through to do it, and I was like, you know what? Whenever you read out what the scores are, I still feel pretty good with what I got in my back
Meanwhile,
pocket.
Of the initial batch, I've got the Odyssey, which we haven't got a score for yet. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Godzilla -0, I'm still confident about. But the entertainment system is down. I was really hoping that would have been out at Cannes, and it hasn't. Maybe it shows up in Venice, but there might be a chance this doesn't show up this year, which would be bad. Also point out that, I feel like I've been scoring pretty well. Toy Story 5 has got 29 points. Project Hail Mary's got 29 points. Super Mario Movie's got 20 points as a wildcard pick. But Supergirl was not ended up a good pick. It has been -10 points, has not performed at the box office.
Performed at all.
I think you've done pretty well. Wuthering Heights was a bit of a not a good selection. That was a -5.1, and just both your wildcard picks were not received very well.
It's fine though, wildcard.
But you did pick Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. That's currently sitting at 91 on Rotten Tomatoes, so you got 42 points off that. of,
Yeah.
of Metacritic. So I think that's the highest rated film that either of us selected
Any of
so
us
far
have
this year.
got?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is making smart decisions here would be critical. And I think from well, I'm pretty sure I selected first because you won last year. So I will again select first. And I'm going to pick Tony, which is the upcoming A24 film about Anthony Bourdain starring Dominic Sessa that we've watched the trailer for. It looks really good. So I'm going to put that as my first selection. Dylan, what are you going with?
I'm going to take Wild Horse 9,
Wild Horse 9.
the Martin McDonough film, where Sam Rockwell and John Malkovich I put on a mission in Chile and shit goes crazy. I don't know. All I know is the trailer's a lot of fun. Martin McDonough films generally review very well, and hopefully could do well commercially. But I mean, I'm just hoping for some good review points here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one, I'm just going with my heart on this one, and going to pick one of my most anticipated movies for the year, How to Rob a Bank, which was a fantastic, one of my favorite trailers released so far this year.
Got to watch it at cinema. I forgot to say last time we played it in cinema. A lot of fun to watch that trailer
on the big
actually.
screen. Just learned, apparently it's been delayed to November.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's good or bad, but or they're concerned about people trying to rob banks and they need more time to work on legal. But hopefully that one is a really good pick. All right, Dylan, what's your next one?
I'm going to take Resident Evil.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
The closer we get, the more confident I'm feeling about it. It's just a weird thing to be picking a video game movie for this at all, but I think the Zach Cregger effect has grabbed me, and I'm ready to run with it.
Okay.
And if this is promoted, the thing is, I think our Resident Evil movie in general has the vibe, has the ability to make money. People like watching these, even if they don't know the games, because of the Mila Jovovich movies. People that don't play the video game still know the franchise. But I think if this is promoted as like from the guy that brought you Weapons as Barbarian comes a new vision of Resident Evil, I think that goes far. Yeah. And the first teaser trailer, that was a teaser, right? Looked very good. So yeah.
All right. Final of the normal selections. Again, I think I'm going to go with my head this time over my heart, and I'm going to pick Sense and Sensibility. Obviously starring Daisy Edgar Jones. We watched the trailer recently for that one as well, and that just seems like that will be well received. That seems like a movie the critics are going to like. Jane Austen, all that kind of stuff. Dylan, what's your final normal regular pick?
My final regular pick is going to be Clayface.
Ooh.
I'm just continuing on trying to pick stuff that doesn't really make sense. Video game movies and now comic book movies or DC comic book movies. Picking a Marvel one is a guaranteed way to make some money at least. So, but I just think everything about this is shaping up like to potentially be not only do I think at least okay at the box office, especially if you go word of mouth. People will turn out for horror movies that do well. Just look at current trend of what's happened between Obsession and Backrooms. But I also think that if it does play as well and goes into the story the way it at least is making out like it could be, I think there's a chance for some really good performances and generally a very well received movie here. And my boy Mike Flanagan's on the script, so what do I expect? I expect good things.
Okay, now for our final wildcard pick, I'm going to go with Forgotten Islands. I feel like I need another animated movie towards the end of the year. This is the DreamWorks one that features two girls. I think they're from Manila, is what they're saying, but who get dragged into this mythical world. We watched the first trailer, which was pretty good. Second trailer come out, and they had fucking Dave Franco as a dog person, which looked a lot of fun.
I did see the second one as well, but the movie looks fun.
I think I'm going to go with that one. I've got a bunch of other ones. I'm pretty happy with that pick. Dylan, what you going to go?
On my wild card, I'm going to take The Great Beyond, the upcoming J.J. Abrams movie. And I know what is that, a wild card? I do think it is a wild card.
I mean, it's the wild cardiest because I don't recall hearing about it.
So we don't really know anything about it, is the other thing, because JJ does JJ things and just keeps everything in secret. But it's due out at the end of the year at some point.
November.
There you go. And I mean, it has Glenn Powell in it, which means
Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega, Emma Mackey, Samuel L. Jackson, Sefer Okonde, and Merritt Weaver.
It's got the cast to draw people in. It's got the cast, especially with Glenn Powell and Jenna Ortega, and I mean even Samuel L. Jackson. But I think
because Running Man was such a hit.
I do think Glenn Powell and Jenna Ortega have the ability to draw people into the movie. It's just is the movie going to be good or just okay or something? I know J.J. Abrams can be a bit of a mixed bag. So, so I'm chucking this in as a wild card because there's nothing. I don't really know anything about it, and I don't know if I can see maybe getting a trailer in September or something before we even begin to learn anything about it. So, it
would be a full Super 8 situation or
who knows?
Field, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this is his first original movie since Super 8.
Yeah.
First movie since Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Were there any other movies on your list?
I had down what did I not say? So I had down The Dog Stars, The Great Beyond.
That's the one you picked.
Sorry. No, I read Great Beyond, Clayface, Heart of the Beast, and Victorian Psycho.
Wow. I haven't even heard that one either.
Micah Monroe starring.
Okay, that would explain why you would know about that one. I had down One Night Only, which is that upcoming Monica Barbaro, Dua Lipa's husband movie.
Yeah.
That looked really good. Clara and the Sun, another Jenna Ortega film. The Taika Waititi film coming up. That looks really good. End of Oak Street. I think that could be I feel like that's one that could go either way. Street Fighter.
Yeah.
That I feel like that was up for wild card because again that could go either way. Whalefall. Did you watch the teaser Whalefall?
I don't think I did.
No. Okay, then I will not talk about it more in case we watch a trailer later this year.
It's a guy who gets swallowed by the whale and then he's inside for the rest of the movie. Yeah.
Austin Abrams,
Pinocchio.
It's real life Pinocchio. Fokker-in-Law. That could be a big hit. And then the other animated movie coming out this year, Hexed, which I don't think it looks as good as Forgotten Island. So,
No.
But those are ones to watch, and maybe some of them will be eligible in one of the other film festivals. Toronto occasionally gets big budget stuff debut there, so yeah, we'll wait and see how this pans out. But now we're going to talk about some trailers in a segment called Films for Trailers. So you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. We'll say, really happy with this week's selections. We put out some good ones this week. First trailer for this week, Bad Apples. Directed by Jonathan Etzler, starring Saoirse Ronan, Jacob Henderson, Reggie Ayala, Robert Ems, Sean Gilder, and Kerry Howard. A struggling primary school teacher begins to make some questionable decisions after one of her students is injured. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Bad Apples?
Double thumbs up. Obviously, it looks fantastic. I mean, you put Saoirse Ronan in something, and I'm already. It's that's an actress who I'm gonna watch whatever she's in anyway. But yeah, it's just the whole idea of locking up a kid and form this weird relationship out of frustration of him being an absolute cunt. Love that. So it sort of looks like it's also not something you would expect her to be doing to to be honest. So I appreciate she's playing outside of her. I only do super serious, moody, dark things or whatever that she's sort of fallen into a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. This is a amusing case of you live long enough to become the villain. Of course, we all know Saoirse Ronan was in The Lovely Bones as the abducted little girl, and now she's the one doing the abducting.
It's true. It's a good point. Didn't think about that, but good point. Yep. Everything comes full circle.
Everything does come full circle. I have a few friends that are teachers. I'm sure they'll appreciate the wish fulfillment in this movie. Just locking up that problem child, and man, that kid was definitely worthy of being locked up. And I mean, it looks like a really fun dark comedy. The fact that everybody is just kind of this kid has been kidnapped, but everybody is like doing better.
They're like, "Do you miss him?" Nah, we're good.
Is anybody upset about this kid being kidnapped?
No, we're good.
No?
Okay,
real good. Okay.
Yep.
Bad Apples is releasing in the UK and Ireland on September 18th. Currently no Australian release date. Next trailer is for Idiots, directed by Macon Blair, starring Dave Franco, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Mason Thames, Kiernan Shipka, Nicholas Braun, and Peter Dinklage. 2 people who have hit rock bottom are forced to work together to transport a rich, troubled teen to rehab for a shady transport service. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Idiots?
Yeah, it looks like a wild time. Double thumbs up. Just a odd pairing, to be completely honest, of a bunch of everyone in this movie. It's just a real eclectic mix of people that have paired up together, and I don't really know what's going on half the time, but it looks like an insane road trip that I can't wait to be part of. And I assume it's going to be, I mean, look, there's an element of this where it's like his last movie was Toxic Avenger, and obviously there's some element of like the vibe of that felt in this, at least for me. So like maybe, not as B movie as that is or whatever, but like just the oddness of it. So
yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. It looks like a wild time. I enjoyed the pairing of Dave Franco and O'Shea Jackson Jr. That is pretty good. Then Mason Thames, the up-and-coming young star, like being the coked out bad boy. That looks like a lot of fun. So keen for this one. Idiots is releasing in the US 28th of August. No Australian release date. Next trailer, The Fox, directed by Dario Russo, starring Jai Courtney, Emily Browning, Damon Harriman, Claudia Dumit, Zlatko Buric, Miranda Otto, Sam Neill, and Olivia Colman. The story of a hunter who encounters a talking fox with a proposal to solve his problems after his fiancée Corey has cheated on him. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for The Fox?
Double thumbs up. Looks great. I love its sort of mix of both being darkly humorous while having this oddly sincere undertone about the dark reality of relationships. It's just an odd mix, and it sort of oddly fixes it's an odd pairing that just seems to work, and it's also just really good cast. Sam Neill's in it. So yeah, double thumbs up. I don't know. The crow, the crow just being like, fuck off.
The magpie.
Magpie.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. I think this looks really great. I think it must have played at the Sydney International Film Festival. Because I definitely saw maybe Mad Men, whoever put it out, reaction videos from the audience.
Yeah, if Sydney was the one, it played like what, a month?
Well, I believe it did debut at Adelaide last year because it's a South Australian film.
Yeah.
But I do recall seeing
it's going to be at MIF for anyone listening.
Yes. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I saw somebody in the comments is like, "Oh, this fucking Aussie obsession." That's what it is.
Aussie obsession. Oh yeah, true. It could be. Yeah.
And that's what the vibes
He's
is.
making a wish. Yeah.
He's making some sort of
Dry
deal to get his
Courtney's,
girlfriend
yeah.
to do what he
What
wants,
he wants.
whatever. But yeah, seeing this assortment of actors together as well, like you wouldn't have picked it. But yeah, looks really good. Getting Olivia Colman coming in and doing this weird Aussie movie. This is really fun. So yes, so The Fox is playing at MIF, but is releasing wide 29th of October. Next trailer is for The Wrong Girls, directed by Dylan Meyer, starring Kristen Stewart, Alia Shawkat, Lakeith Stanfield, Tony Hale, Zach Fox, Seth Rogen, Kumail Nanjiani, Kate McKinnon, and Gina Davis. Two codependent best friends living paycheck to paycheck and bong rip to bong rip get caught in a case of mistaken identity that throws their lives into chaos. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for The Wrong Girls?
Yep, double thumbs up once again. I mean, look, you give me a movie where I can sort of, I've got Kristen Stewart, Alice Shakwat, how do you say it? Shakhay? Yeah, Shakhay. Odd pairing already, but I can see it, and I'm like, yes, I wouldn't have ever paired them up if you'd asked me to pick a million people for Kristen Stewart to work with, but I'm like, now that I'm seeing him, I like it. And then I did the same with in the car of Lakeith Stanfield, and I'm like, oh no, this all seems perfect to me. I'm having a great time. They take drugs. I don't know what the drugs are or the chemicals they take, but it's don't really know what's going on. Kumail Nanjiani and Seth Rogen are voicing cats. Yep, great time. Can't wait.
Yeah, this is 2 thumbs up for me as well. I think this was a delightful trailer to come across, and like again, a movie I had not heard of at all. And seeing this cast, like you said, the oddball pairing of those two, it's definitely like obviously last year. I don't want to get into it too, like compare it too much, but One of These Days with Keke Palmer and SZA, like that's kind of the vibes I'm getting from this as well. Like a fun female led stoner comedy in this case. It looks like a lot of fun. Yes, Seth Rogen and Kumail Nanjiani voicing cats who apparently are dicks is a lot of fun.
Because of cats.
Why are they just drinking
random
liquids? Yeah. And I think my favorite moment for the trailer is when he calls them ladies, and they go like, "Ooh,
we're ladies." Yeah.
We're ladies. So stupid. The Wrong Girls comes to the US 14th of August. No Australian release date. Final trailer for this week. Dune Part 3. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, starring Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Florence Pugh, Rebecca Ferguson, Isaac Deboncourt, Charlotte Rampling, Anya Taylor-Joy, Robert Pattinson, and Javier Bardem. Emperor Paul Atreides faces the consequences of his reign as old allies return, terrifying new threats emerge, and betrayal lurks in every shadow. Haunted by visions of imperial collapse and the reappearance of his long-lost love, he gets drawn into a sweeping conspiracy with Chani at the heart of his unfolding mystery. As rebellion brews and enemies close in, Paul must confront the true cost of power and the fate of those he loves the most. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Dune Part 3?
Obviously, double thumbs up. I can't wait. I mean, you don't really need to see a trailer for this to get excited about it, is the thing. But it continues to look really good. I'm at a stage where I'm just beginning to wonder how long the movie is. It's like covering his war, I guess, because you see younger, and then later the trailer, it's like the older, shaved Timothy and all these things. Then obviously, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who was a baby, is now like, what,
Older.
her actual age or whatever. So, it's like, so we're spanning a lot of years throughout this movie. So there's a time jump at some point, or there's not a time jump and we just do a flashback and we start. I've got a lot of questions, but yeah, obviously can't wait.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up with me. Like, this trailer just does not fail in getting you hyped. It's like, which movie am I seeing on the 17th of December 1st? I think it is currently Dune Part 3. Balls in your court, Doomsday. yeah, it looks fantastic. Like, obviously, it looks like it's going to be an epic conclusion, but also very few questions are answered. Like, Jason Momoa shows up, doesn't really go into explain any of that other than he's there. Robert Pattinson, another one of these fucking Harkonnen boys. Another one of these albino Harkonnen boys. Trying to kill Paul.
I do love. Did you see an interview where it's like Zendaya and fucking what's his name? No, Spider-Man.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, like talking about how Rob Pattinson keeps following around making movies with him. He's like, I just love making movies with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks great. Florence Pugh looks great. Timmy looks great. You know, looks amazing. You know, very keen to see how this all ties together. Because yeah, from what I've heard at least, Messiah, very weird book. So how he's going to adapt that? Brian K. Vaughan was brought in to help write the script for this one. So I don't think he was involved in the other ones. So
No.
yeah, I mean, it's one of our most anticipated movies for a reason, and the trailer lived up to its standing. So, Doom Part 3, yes, comes to cinemas 17th of December. All right, let's move on to this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
All right, last week we did top movies we need to catch up on from 2026. Only makes sense this week. Top 3 shows that we need to catch up on from 2026. Dylan, what's number 3?
Number 3, I've just said The Pit.
Mm.
Obviously, I haven't watched season 1, let alone season 2. It's technically season 2 is the answer to this question, but yeah, number 3, The Pit.
Do you think you're actually going to follow through it, or is it's at this point it's too much to ask? It's like 26 episodes now you need to watch.
Don't say that out loud. That won't help. Just
yeah, just a week by week thing.
I just
you watch
want you
one
to
a week,
know.
you'll have it done by the end of the year.
You put away $10 a week and you save $1 million, and you know what I mean. Like, it's just you.
I don't think you'd have to be. That's a lot of weeks.
Don't math me.
Okay. My number 3 is the anime Witch Hat Atelier, which is one that I've seen in a lot of best animes of the year so far. About a young girl who becomes the apprentice to a witch. I've seen a lot of classic fantasy names thrown out in comparison to the show. I've seen Lord of the Rings, Narnia, and that kind of stuff, like as like reference points. So that sounds really interesting and is one I'm hoping to catch up on. Dylan, what's your number 2?
Number 2 is Beef season 2, because I really liked the first season and the style of the show. And season 2 looked good, and I just haven't got around to it. Obviously, season 2 stars Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan and other people. But yes, I don't know what. I just haven't got to it.
Yep. My number 2 is Bait, the Riz Ahmed series where he's trying to get the role of James Bond. It all reports,
nothing
it
like
sounds
about,
really good.
It's nothing like his real life, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing like his actual real life, but yeah, all reports are this is fantastic. Obviously, he did get nominated for this, so it's one that I missed and probably need to check out because it feels like it would be my vibe. Dylan, what's your number 1?
Number 1's Margot's Got Money Troubles, which looks fantastic, and by all accounts is fantastic. And the fact that Nick Offerman just plays a wrestler is fantastic.
Should be enough, yeah.
Should be enough. Yeah, I mean, the show looks great. Trailer was great. All the reviews have been great. It's currently sitting on my top of my list of I mean, this list, obviously, the shit I need to start next year. In my head, this list was already created, and this was the next show.
We're just verbalizing it.
Yeah.
Put it on record.
Yeah.
My number 1, it's Widow's Bay.
There we go.
The hype is very high, and I feel like I'm missing out. It's like I feel like maybe it's one of those cultural, like, every year there is one of those breakout word of mouth shows, and I feel like this is definitely
this is the one. Yeah.
So you need to
Also,
understand
there's a lot of good memes, and I've seen just a lot of good jokes and references that.
So I need to watch so then I go over my head.
Yeah, I've seen some
To
stuff
understand.
posted. It's quite funny.
Okay.
Like just simple stuff too. I've seen people like posting like dumb jokes from the show that just even when I reread them, I see people post, even the official count posted one the other day. They'll flick through. I'm like, that's funny writing. That show has funny writing. Like there's not big spoilers. Like a part in the first episode where he's like they're walking through like a museum of the town's history and stuff, and there's like this guy has come to visit, and this lady the main guy Maya doesn't want people to actually be turned off from visiting is the whole thing, and she's like taking it through. It's like. And the witch trials is like, you didn't have witch trials here? And he's like, no, we didn't have witch trials here. And then like pans back to a newspaper clip in the background that says like clearly like a big picture. It's like town has witch trials. He's like, what about those ones? Oh, those ones, yeah. You know, like it's just such a dumb like camera pan out jokes. Like the show's got dumb, fun, good humor.
Dylan, dumb question. This week, what do you want to watch?
This week I would like to watch The Odyssey in 70mm IMAX format. Thursday. Thank you. What's on TV? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, The Odyssey is the clear pick this week. Trying to figure out schedule-wise where I'm going to fit it in. Because I didn't buy tickets 6 months in advance, like some people here.
6 months in advance? I think I bought them a year ago. Just about.
Maybe like 8 months. It was like end of last year, right? Or was it
that
full
was a
12
while.
months?
Maybe I can find my
I hope you have your ticket.
I've got my ticket. I'm just like, can I find? But they sent a follow up one that was you know.
Yeah.
I was like, can I find my original? 18th of July, 2025.
Almost a year ago to the day. That's crazy.
Literally a year ago to the day. Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
That's when I purchased it. Yeah, Friday the 18th of July at 1:06. There you go.
Very good. Very good. On the TV front,
No one cares.
Lucky, I guess, maybe. The Anya Taylor-Joy series starts this week. Or Ride or Die, which is a series that stars who is it? Hannah Waddingham and Octavia Spencer.
Oh,
They're
that
best
one.
friends.
Yeah.
It turns out Hannah Waddingham is a trained assassin.
Yeah. We watched the trailer.
That seems like a silly thing. Yeah. Let us know what you want to watch this week by going to explosionnetwork.com/follow to find us on social media and let us know there. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell a bit about the show. And if you want to help us out at Explosion Network with all our other podcasts, which I don't think we'll plug this week, first time in a couple of weeks, or our other written content, head over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.